This week, 3 major religious holidays are coinciding for the first time in over 30 years: Ramadan, Easter, and Passover. And thanks to COVID vaccines and a drop in cases, many people are able to observe those holidays in person for the first time in 2 years. Joining us to talk about this and more are Imam Hassan Ali with the Mecca Center in Willowbrook, Pastor Ann Jolly with St. Gregory's Episcopal Church in Deerfield, and Rabbi Evan Moffick with Macomb Solel Lakeside in Highland Park. Welcome all three of you, and thank you for joining us. Rabbi, let's start with you, please. Passover begins tomorrow. How will you and others at your synagogue be celebrating?
Well, we are so grateful to mostly be celebrating in person at our homes tomorrow evening with the Seder. First time in probably 2 years, people are going to have family and friends and enjoying Passover meals. People are traveling. I know people are coming in to be with their families. Some people will still have virtual options, because some people still aren't traveling, but it'll be mostly in person, which is wonderful.
Pastor Jolly, what would you say is the importance of being able to meet in person for Easter this year?
Well, for us, Easter is such an incarnational thing. Our faith is based on God incarnate. And so being able to come together, physically together in the same space, it means the world to us to be able to do that. Finally, after several years of being online only, to be able to come together brings this particular holiday to life in a way that is really important to us.
Imam Ali, your mosque is hosting an interfaith banquet soon. You are including a rabbi and a pastor as well. What is the importance of all of these major holidays coinciding?
We're so grateful to God to be back with our community members again, all three religions, especially during our most blessed time of the year. And I was talking to my friends, my respected rabbi and pastor before the recording, and I said that as if God Almighty is saying to us, here you are, you have to start again fresh, but together this time. And so we made the theme of this year of our interfaith dinner together again. And we wanted to celebrate all of us, the Jewish community, the Christian community, and the Muslim community, so we can be out of this together and stay together.
Rabbi, same question to you. What does it mean to you that the holidays are overlapping this way?
Well, I was just struck by what Imam said about starting again. It just really resonated with me because Passover is a holiday of rebirth. It was about the rebirth of the Jewish people leaving Egypt. Easter, as I understand it, it's about a rebirth or a resurrection. And in many ways, we're entering into the time of spring, a rebirth of nature. And so I really do think this is a time of rebirth, of renewal, of this hopefully turning a corner and reinvigorating our lives in community, in person, with all the great benefits we've had from Zoom and from the kind of connections we can build. That's been wonderful in many ways for our synagogue, but we need a renewal. We need that rebirth to come back together as a people, as a community.
And Pastor, same question to you. Do you also view this as somewhat symbolic that these holidays are all converging at the same time?
Absolutely. As my colleagues have said so well, this is a time to bring us together. For the Christian faith, Easter is a time of coming out of a place of fear and scared and anxious and into a time of hope and new life and new creation. And what better time? We are all coming out of a place of being really scared and anxious and worried, and into the opportunity that is laid before us, as Imam said, that God Almighty may have given us an opportunity to come together in a new way and to set aside our fears and worries and anxieties and any differences that we see and live into life in a new way as a community together.
Imam, Ramadan has been going on for 2 weeks now. What has it been like being able to get together in person and to break fast with other people?
It was very sad and difficult, but unique at the same time when we actually did not have the opportunity to celebrate Ramadan 2 years ago in 2020. But that was my message to the community at that time was, let's welcome Ramadan into our hearts and our homes. Now, after more than 2 years of pandemic era and COVID-19 interruptions, we're so happy and excited and thankful to God Almighty that we can reunite ourselves again with each other, with our community center, with our places of worship, with our neighbors around us this year, celebrating the month of Ramadan as a community in our mosques. And so many mosques in the greater Chicago area were filled, especially in the first week of Ramadan. And people are so excited to see each other again, to pray shoulder to shoulder once again with their beloved family and community members. And so there's a great feelings and emotions and prayers to God Almighty to keep everyone around safe so we can continue enjoying the blessings of God.
And Pastor Jolly, how has your church been celebrating Easter these past 2 years?
We've been celebrating online. For the past 2 years, we've had Zoom worship. We did drive-through communion. So our main sacrament is communion. When people drive through and pick it up, and we'd wave at them through the window, and we would throw confetti eggs at each other from across the space. But the opportunity to do that stuff together this time is going to be so important. We're celebrating with several other congregations. We're partnering with other Episcopal churches to celebrate together this year because, like Imam said, coming together shoulder to shoulder is such a joy, finally, this year.
Rabbi Moffick, do you see more people drawn to the faith in these questionable times this last couple of years?
Yes. I was just having a conversation with another rabbi about this, that we actually saw a tremendous increase in membership in our synagogue over the last 2 years. A year ago, or 2 years ago, I remember the time I was very worried about what COVID would do for our community and people coming together. I was very scared. And then we really just saw this renewal. We had more people participating, more people calling me and kind of seeking counsel, seeking guidance, and people grasping on to almost the simple pleasures of community, of learning, of family and friendship that, a synagogue and a church and a mosque represent. And I think people had lost track of that. And I think COVID almost renewed our appreciation for it. We missed being in person, but the kind of connection we could have virtually really, I think, touched a lot of people's lives.
And Imam, we're almost out of time, but tell us a little bit about how your mosque had been celebrating these last couple of years and if there are any lessons that you take away from that.
Yes, of course. So in 2020, again, we were not able to celebrate Ramadan in person in the mosque. It was so difficult, but again, we tried to stay together even virtually. Then last Ramadan, we had a limited reopening of the month of Ramadan with the mosque. And also, it was not that easy for people to register online and to come having the face mask, praying, bringing their prayer rugs and other things. But if there is one thing that we can learn from what happened is that we should not take anything for granted. As believers, we need to reflect and learn. We now should take a step back and look at how we had been living life before the pandemic, during the pandemic, and after the pandemic. Seeing a friend in a street or in the place of worship and approaching them for a hug is something that we should not take for granted. To just come to your place of worship, knowing that the synagogue or the mosque or the church are always open for you is not something that we should take for granted. Your beloved ones who are living around you are not something that you should take for granted, and we should think about that.
Absolutely. A very good place to leave it, and wishing all of you and your congregations the best with your respective celebrations. Our thanks to Pastor Ann Jolly, Rabbi Evan Moffick, and Imam Hassan Ali for joining us.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.